there is somebody. I got an email the other day and said, hey, I understand that you're doing a tournament at Country Club of the South to benefit Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And I said, yeah, we are. And she said, we just moved in. I live on hole 7.
Wow.
My son had to go have life-saving surgery at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. He would have died. Could we make a poster and put it on hole 7? Can I put cookies and treats for the golfers? And
Wow.
Can we say how much Children's Healthcare of Atlanta means to our son? Here are the pictures of him in the hospital, and this is an infant covered in tubes and tape.
Welcome to Can Heat, a podcast brought to you by Liger Partners. We are marketing and operations experts bred for our skills and magic, and today I'm super excited. I feel like I say that every podcast, but like I hang around some really awesome people, so I truly mean it every time, and we've already been having way too much fun. So today I'm joined by Angie Rakup.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about golf for the kids, but first I want to know all about you. So, because you have a company, so we're going to talk about you first. Then we're going to talk about golf for the kids.
Okay, talk about catching a girl off guard. I am a financial advisor. I have my CFP, my CHFC, and I have been doing comprehensive financial planning in the Atlanta area for the last 26 years.
Nice.
It makes me seem a lot older than I feel. But it is great. Financial Care Providers does a broad spectrum outside of the traditional financial planning services for my clients. I'm able to work in the areas of estate planning, Social Security,
Nice.
Medicare experts that I've pulled in to work on every financial plan that I do to make sure that we've covered all the bases and that my clients are fully taken care of.
Perfect. So we were joking around a little bit earlier because you were telling us about a hobby that you do when you have time. And I laughed because I said, when you have time, because when do you have time? Because you have your business, Golf for the Kids. So tell us about Golf for the Kids.
Sometimes between my business and Golf for the Kids, I keep a pretty demanding schedule. And sometimes just for myself, the world just needs to stop. As a child, I did a little crocheting, and then so I taught myself. There's a art of amigurumi, and basically that means making tremendously silly-looking little animals
Nice.
out of crochet. And when you can just sit down and make myself stop.
Yeah.
This podcast is not going well. We've already established that I've been in business 26 years. I crochet silly animals.
Which is impossible because Angie's
and
28.
Just to let you know, I've got 2 cats as well. The story's getting worse as it goes along.
And I forgot to mention that we're live from Industrious, so we've had like people that we tried to ignore walk through.
That it all works out, right?
This is fantastic. It's good. I love it. We're keeping all of this.
Oh no.
Highlight reel. Okay. So Golf for the Kids.
Golf for the Kids just kind of happened on me. I had first started playing golf, and I was playing executive courses. My game wasn't even up to where I could play a full-size course yet. My amateur status was that I called the full-size course Big Golf, which I
Nice.
wasn't playing yet. And a friend of mine called me up, and he knew that I had a background working in Boy Scouts, so I've got a skill sets that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
So he called me up, and I said, hey, what are you doing? And he says, can you ride horses? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, on top. I mean, I don't ride dressage
Doesn't
or anything.
everyone call and ask that?
Just like, he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, I don't ride dressage or anything, but yeah, I can ride. What do you need? And he goes, there's an event going on. We've got over at Chastain Park at the horse barn.
Nice.
And we need volunteers to ride with these kids. And I said, well, when do you need them? And he said, well, an hour ago. Great. So I took a deep breath. I said, let me change my clothes. Tell me where to be, and I'll get out there. So I changed my plans, made a couple calls, and got out there. And it just was pretty amazing. I have done a lot of work through Boy Scouts with healthy and well children, doing all kinds of outdoor activities.
Yeah.
And the difference in these little champions that are just fighting for their lives. And they just drink in fun and recreation and support like you cannot believe. The day was just changing. And different people were working on what they could do to do fundraising to help these children battling cancer. And I thought, I don't know. And they said, well, you like to play golf. And I said, you don't understand. I don't even play big golf. And they said, well, you could do a golf tournament. And I'm like, no, I've never even been to a golf tournament, and I can't do that. And so I said, no. And usually the bad feeling that you get when you have to say no goes away. Mm-hmm. Well, the bad feeling really didn't go away.
So it was there. You said no, and you were expecting relief.
And I thought it would go away, and it wasn't. And as I crossed other people's paths in golf over the next few months, they're like, if you'll do it, we'll support you. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. If you'll do it, we'll support you. So in 2007, we had our first Golf for the Kids tournament with 6 foursomes. Yes, it was more like a day on the course. But anyway, wow. I had 6 foursomes, raised $8,000. And I was like, great, done, awesome, handled. So someone else approached me and said, okay, cool, are we going to do this again next year?
So that's where I was going, because it has gone on. How many years? This
year will be the 13th annual event.
So the first one, you put this together all by yourself.
The second one I put together all by myself.
Okay. And then when did Mark McKenzie come in?
I met the infamous Mark McKenzie. Mark McKenzie and I found out that our grandparents grew up in the same really small town in Kansas, a small town called Neodesha. He's looking at me and I'm looking at him. He says, my family was a bunch of outlaws. I said, my family was a bunch of outlaws too. He says, there's no way they all lived there and we're not kin. So Mark McKenzie and I have been kissing cousins from that day forward. And he says, are you doing this event by yourself? And I said, yes. And he said, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I said, yeah. And he says, I want to do it too. I was like, wow. So all of a sudden, and that is literally how it's all happened very organically. And so Mark and I are like, maybe other people want to do this with us. And we pulled together an advisory board. And then in year 3, we decided, wow, this thing has got legs. Let's get an LLC. Let's get this. Let's get that. Let's get this set up for real. Because you know what? We're actually doing this. It's like the first time when you're on a bike and you start getting balance, you're like, I'm actually riding it. That was Mark and I as the tournament took off. And so we got all the legal wrappings. We created an LLC with an affiliation letter to CHOA, so we have all the tax deductibility. Over the last 13 years, I think I could write a book on each and every year that the golf tournament has gone on, as far as what's gone on with our advisory board, what these people have gone through and overcome, what they're doing in their life. And the advisory board is much more than a group of people coming together to have a golf tournament. We have been through all kinds of forms of life together and supported one another and pulled each other through thick and thin. Sometimes we've actually pulled each other through thick and thin on the day of the event, during the event. We have had just some people, I can't list them all, that have gone well above and beyond the call of duty to make this happen.
Awesome. So tell us the purpose behind what you're doing, like the goal, and it all goes to support Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Correct.
So what are your goals? How much do you want to raise? How can people get involved?
That is hard. Each year we seek to increase the amount that we give to CHOA. Some years we've pushed forward and some years we've pulled back. During the course of the last 12 events that we've accomplished, one event was canceled during rain and one event happened during inclement weather, we will say. All in all, we've persevered. Each year, I think the capacity we have of the advisory board, what we have going on with our sponsors, it changes. I thought it was going to be a linear progression. I've learned otherwise. And each year, I see people coming in, bringing new and dynamic things to the picture, and each year it just keeps getting better.
Awesome. So when you and I met, and you can tell the story so much better than I can, so I will let you tell it.
No.
Something that you mentioned to me, and you made it such a point to mention, and I just could hear and see your passion behind what you're doing, is you told me we empty the bank account each year because everything gets allocated towards this and towards CHOA.
100% goes to CHOA. What we decided when we set this up, we basically are operating to a zero. I capitalized Golf for the Kids. We capitalized it with $500, and each year we clear the bank account back down to that $500. It's just there for operating capital. But what we do not do is we do not engage people that are in the golf business, in the golf tournament business for profit. None of us get any kind of compensation. If we ask you for your support, it's going to be at your cost. It's your time expense, your material expense, whatever you do. We ask people to donate and do whatever they can in order to bring it in so that every dollar that we have gets to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, the Aflac Cancer Center. And about the first $15,000 we raise goes to the Canine Assistant Program. And we referenced my rigorous work schedule. I would love to be there every day, and I would love to be giving care and support to each and every one of the children. If you ever care to join us for the tours of the Aflac Cancer Center at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, we will be there on Giving Tuesday, the Tuesday following Thanksgiving, where we have a large check. We break up into groups, and they take us on tours of the different CHOA centers, whether it's Scottish Rite, Eccleston, whatever, Hughes Balding. And you go through, and you'll walk by. There's a big wall of windows, and it's got big recliner chairs. And you walk by, and those chairs are populated with young people hooked to IV bags that are actually receiving chemotherapy.
Wow.
Like you're standing there, and they are they're just right there. They're actually getting chemo.
Wow.
And it twists my heart inside out. And I can't provide the support that they need. So by funding the service dog program, we've got animals on the floor 365 days a year, 24/7, in order to give these children the kind of support. I don't know if you're familiar with the Beads of Courage, but you'll see the kids walk around with lanyards, and they have beads. Some of these kids look like Aborigine warriors or something. They've got just beads all over, and each one of these beads represents everything from a stick to a surgery to a spinal tap.
Wow.
Some of these children, I don't know, they're so tiny, I do not know how they have lived long enough to have earned this number of beads as far as treatment's concerned. And
wow.
It just kills me, and I just want to do everything I can to give them comfort and support today, as well as fight cancer, so we have fewer kids in the future coming down with this.
Yes. So tell us, we mentioned the Canine
Service
program, and we love dogs in general here at Liger Partners.
There you go.
And we were talking a little bit about Olaf, so tell us who Olaf is.
The first dog that we were able to find was Olaf. Olaf is an amazing golden retriever from the Canine Assistance Program in Alpharetta, and his handler, Dr. Elin, is great. The handler for the Canine Assistant Programs are amazing, amazing people. They have a full-time job at CHOA. Like, they have their whole job. Dr. Elin is busy taking care of patients and doing all the stuff he does as a physician. Then they work another shift. Their next shift is being the handler for their dog and taking it around. Their commitment to these dogs is for the dog's lifetime. It's not just for the hours they have at CHOA. So if
we're
you
talking like take the dog home care for them? Wow.
Day and night, 24/7. If you go on vacation, the dog goes
Sure.
with you.
Okay.
There's issues around separation
Right.
that they try to develop in these dogs. The dogs that they have been trained since birth,
Wow.
since day one, to be there. And Olaf is an amazing animal.
Wow. I've seen pictures. He's cute too.
Very cute.
Cute too. So, are you still forming teams? Do you need sponsors? How can we get involved?
Number one, we love sponsors. We love anyone that wants to bring their face, their spirit, their energy to Golf for the Kids. All we need is more momentum. And as much momentum as I have, I still want more. Additionally, what we want is to give a bigger check to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So anybody that wants to be a sponsor and wants to be involved, we will incorporate you. As Liger Partners came on and said, hey, we want to be a part of Golf for the Kids. I'm like, well, what could we do and what would promote your business? Because I know absolutely nothing, nothing about what you do. This has never happened before, but you guys will be setting up. I worked with our great people at Country Club of the South. You guys will be setting up on the back porch. They assure me that they get very few golf balls flying up there. So,
good to know.
So if you see something or somebody yells "4," you might want to duck, cover your head, and get low really
That's
quick.
good to know.
So you'll be set up on the back porch of Country Club of the South, and as people come through, you'll be able to, number one, see if they got any putting skills, and number two, interview them as they come off 18.
Awesome. And how are teams formed? Can anyone come on and say, I want to have a team?
Anyone can come on and say, I want to have a team. It is a scramble team. So
Okay.
you will always be playing best balls. So if you're not the best golfer, this is an opportunity for you to get out and play.
Okay.
If you hit a bad ball, they can just pick it up and move on and take the best ball out of the 4 players.
Okay. Sounds like my kind of game.
Right. It's a really good time if you're trying to get in the game and get used to being on the course, but you don't want to clog things up and slow things down, which is a big no-no in golf.
Yes.
But we would love to have new partners, and you can easily reach me anytime at the email address join us at golfforthekids.com, and that's golfforthekids.com.
Perfect. So as we're wrapping up, what really keeps you going each year? Because I know we talked about the kids, but is there a moment or like points of inspiration that every year when you do it? Because it's hard, right? Like it's hard putting all this together and pulling it together, even for 2 people. So what are...
Well, now we got 15 on the board. So even for 15,
true.
It is hard.
It's still a lot. So what's like an inspiration or maybe a thought, something that kind of keeps you empowered?
Every time I turn a corner, there is somebody. I got an email the other day and said, hey, I understand that you're doing a tournament at Country Club of the South to benefit Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And I said, yeah, we are. And she said, we just moved in. I live on hole 7.
Wow.
My son had to go have life-saving surgery at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. He would have died. Could we make a poster and put it on hole 7? Can I put cookies and treats for the golfers? And
Wow.
can we say how much Children's Healthcare of Atlanta means to our son? Here are the pictures of him in the hospital, and this is an infant covered in tubes and tape. And here's a picture of him now. And what I realize is we're sitting here today, or we're going through our work day, and we're all distracted in doing what they do. There's a lot of people in this world that are going through life-changing moments with their children,
Yeah.
and young people that are going through life-changing moments with themselves. And every time you see someone like this, you realize I am making a difference. And knowing that I'm making a difference means everything to me.
Well, thank you, Angie, so
you.
much for coming on and sharing with us today. So it's golfforthekids.org.
Nope, golfforthekids.com.
.com.
And it's golfforthekids.com. THEKIDS.com. And you can easily reach me at joinus@golfforthekids.com. If you'd like to be a sponsor, if you'd like to be a player, if you'd like to be a volunteer, or even if you just said, hey, October 21st doesn't work for me, if you'd just like to donate, we'd be happy to take your donation. And 100% of what you donate will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
And as Angie mentioned, all the Ligers are going to be there.
Yes.
So if you are available on October 21st, you should come, put together a foursome, and come out. How many spots do you? How many more teams can you take on?
I've got 4 more spots available, and there's only 32 foursomes.
So bring it. I'm not bringing it on the course. I'm just bringing me on the course, but not on the course, because I don't know the first thing about golf, I'm telling you.
You will learn it.
Okay, done. Thank you so much, Angie.
No, thank you.